Hey guys, it's Joseph here, back on Joe Stuff again, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Line Writer website. You might be wondering what Line Writer is, but if you don't know, then go ahead and check out the video that will come up on the top right corner of your screen. That is what Line Writer is, and it's pretty cool. I'm going to show you how to make some of your own now. So, go up to your search bar, which I have not in the recording, but just type in linewriter.com and hit enter, and that will bring you up to the Line Writer website. Right here, you can download this. You can download it in the App Store or Google Play, but if you can use it online, it's probably one of the best things you can do, because you can also download the tracks and save them, or you can just save them on your browser memory. So go head over to the site here and hit play. And that opens up the editor tools right here. So if you're not familiar with Line Writer, then yeah, go look at that video. But in case you forgot to look at that video, then what it is basically is it's just this little guy on a sled that can ride around on the tracks. So basically, it's just this little guy that you can make all kinds of tracks for. So if I draw down in here and like that, and then hit play, he will just ride on the tracks. Very good physics there, and he can also fall off of his thing. So if I draw a line down here and hit play, then he falls off. It's pretty simple how it works, and I'll be showing you step by step through how to make all this stuff, how to use all this. So we're going to go ahead and start with the writing tools first here. So you'll notice that if you click on the little icon up here, the little pencil icon, then you'll have these three colors underneath. Blue is the most common one right here, and what it does is that's just normal track. The little guy rides on the track, and that's it. This red part actually makes it speed up, so you can actually draw. You'll notice it has these little arrows. They look like teeth or something, but there are just little arrows on the bottom showing the direction that it goes. So you just see how it sort of speeds it along like that. Then green, here, I'll just get rid of that. Green will be ignored. So you can use it for drawing decorations and stuff. So if I draw something underneath him like that, it will completely be ignored. It looks exactly the same as the rest of the lines, but it won't detect it at all. So those are basically the three different types of lines that are in this, and that's pretty important for drawing different kinds of things. Of course, you can just stay with the blue one, but sometimes for getting around things like loops and things, then the red one can be useful, and this is cool for drawing text or something on the screen. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the tools at the bottom here for seeking through your video because those are pretty important. So I'm just going to draw a simple little thing for him here. And so now down here is pretty self-explanatory for part of it here. On the bottom here you have this play button. If I click on that, it plays. So as you can see, I made my track wrong, but this is just an example. It plays like that. You can also, so when it plays, you can also click pause and then hit play again, and it'll just pause, and you can do that. Hit this button right here, and as you can see, it skips backwards. So you can actually run it in reverse by just holding down that button like that. And then there's the stop button, which, so if you're moving along through it, then if you hit the stop button, it just resets it. And then this speeds along forward, although it's the same speed as the rest of it, so I usually just use the play button. This little button right here, I'm not exactly sure what you'd use that for, except that what it does is it adds the flag as the start point right there. So that's where now it starts out when you hit play. And you can drag this wherever you want, but what you can do is you can just drag it to the beginning, and it'll go back up to where it's supposed to be. This button right here is for slow motion, so you click that, and then you click play, and it's in slow motion. That can be useful for adding things that are synchronized with music, because the music also plays slower, and I'll show you how to add music later. And then finally over here, there's this button, which is the onion skin. So what it does basically is it shows before and after what's going to happen. So I'll explain the eraser tool in a minute, but as you can see there, he's falling. But you can actually see a little shadow of him in front and behind, so you can kind of see what he's going to do. And if you pause it, you can see it's actually a little picture of the little guy the whole time. And you can just click on that again to turn it off. I'll now move on with the rest of this stuff. And so there's also this tool up here in the top, which is like a paintbrush, so you can actually like draw out your line and it'll sort of follow behind it, sort of trail along like that. I'm not really sure how that's useful, but I'm sure some people will find it good for something. And you can click that off to turn it off. Next to here, there's the line tool, and it works exactly the same as the normal pen tool there, and it has the same colors underneath, just it's a line. Like that. And you can also connect the line. So if you go next to it, if you go over the end of a line and then click to draw another line, it will automatically connect. And then if you want to close the shape, it will snap to the spot so you can actually make a shape. Next is the eraser tool, which erases parts. It also erases an entire line each time, which is kind of annoying sometimes, but it works. So next is the select tool over here. And you can pretty much just select things, and then you can click on little boxes to drag out things like that. If you take the line tool, draw something out, take the select tool, and then you can see those little things up here. You can grab one, and then you can change how the line goes. You can connect it around to things. Next is this tool right here, and it's just for moving around with. It's just the pan tool. And right here is the zoom tool, which you can click, and when you drag down, it zooms out, and when you put it in, it zooms in like that. And you can turn that off there, or go over to something else. Yeah. So that's all the tools in there, and so that's the basics of how that works. But there's this whole panel over here on the side too, which I will go through. So you can click this little, I don't even know, little arrow thing, and it'll collapse them, and then you can click the little menu, and it'll open it back up again. Now there's several different things here. You can click on the button for new, and it will usually ask you if you want to save your changes. And I'll just hit cancel to stop that. You can also hit load, so you can load tracks. Now these are tracks that I have. I have several of these tracks on YouTube, so you can go and check those out later. So you can just hit the X up here. Down here it says save, so you can save it with a title, a creator, which is optional, and a description, which is optional. You can also save it to a file, which can be loaded later. Also right here is video export, so you can actually export the video of it right there for putting on things like YouTube. There's also settings right here, and I'll go through these. The first one here, there's general, smooth playback. That means I'm not really sure why you'd turn that off, but it's sort of jerky without it. So go in there and you turn the smooth playback on. There's also playback preview, which is like it shows the actual colors of the lines while you're drawing them, which are always black. There's also show line colors in playback, which means it'll keep the line colors when you're playing it. And lock track lines, which I'm not even really sure what that one means, except that it looks like it seems to lock the type of thing you're using. So if I go to blue and hit lock track lines, it goes to green. So I really don't know what that means because I don't use that one much. But anyway, next one is playback camera and zoom, so you can set the zoom that you want. You can change that to something bigger to make it zoomed in more when you're playing it. And you can set a viewport width and height. Next is the riders. You can go all the way up to 3 riders there, which makes 3 different riders right here, which will all play in the thing. I'm just going to set it back to 1. And also, well, here, set it to 3. Right here, you can see which one you want it to focus on. So it can't focus on all 3 at the same time, but you can select which one you want it to focus on. So, also, you can also, the playback camera focus, you can make it so it doesn't focus while it's playing. And then right here, keep rider in view while scrubbing, which means that while you're dragging the little thing through your thing, it'll actually stay in view. You can turn that off if you want. You can also click move start position, and then you can grab this little circle and move it around like that. Next is audio, which it's just a load audio button. So you can load sound files to synchronize it with. If you look on YouTube, there are a lot of videos of synchronized line rider tracks, which are very nice. And there's advanced, which says modifying these settings may result in unstable behavior, and the max duration is all that there is in there, so that should not result in unstable behavior. But that this max duration thing means that so if I drag this thing all the way to the end and then click play, it will actually keep on ticking along at the end there, all the way up to 60 minutes or whatever you set that to. And so that's all of the settings. Next is the help, which it just has instructions about how to use it. If you need anything else, there's also a large list of hotkeys right here, which are like keyboard shortcuts for the different kinds of things. And there's also info, which is just how many lines you have, which pretty much means, so when you draw with your pen tool in here, it actually is made up of a lot of little lines. So that's why it says 71 lines, and it tells you how many lines of each thing there are. And that says about, the version, developed by, and the copyright. So that's all about all with that part. So that is the basics of the line writer program here. It's pretty simple, but it's actually a very fun thing to do. Be sure to go check out my videos of a couple of tracks that I made, and I can't wait to see what kinds of tracks you make. See you next time.